Hey folks, welcome to Market Technical Analysis by InTheMoneyStocks.com, your leaders in pure technical analysis, avoiding all the Wall Street hype. Today being Wednesday, April 2nd, 2008. As we get into today's video, I want to discuss a little bit about the action we saw in the markets today, about how that fits into the whole general scheme of a possible continued move higher, which we are expecting even after we called perfectly the rally, the massive rally, I should say, yesterday. And then we'll talk a little bit about why the market needs to pause on days like this instead of just continuing up. And all you guys that have been following the videos probably will know and understand what we talk about. Those of you that are just starting to watch, it may take you a couple days, but that's why we're here. We're here to teach and learn and ultimately become a better and more profitable trader. So let's get into the charts on the intraday level. And what you're going to see as I bring up my trend tools here to draw on the charts is that we had a generally, I don't know, you'd call it a lackluster day, a pause day. And that is what we mentioned yesterday. And those of you that have been watching the last few videos know the accuracy of the calls since we really began doing these videos. But nonetheless, notice here how you just had a pretty much sideways day. You had a nice couple formations in the chart. Remember, yesterday's chart was virtually like this. That was yesterday's chart. Up, down, all around an upward motion all day long. Well, today we needed to pause, and we said that in yesterday's videos that you're going to have a flat day. Maybe you'll be up a little, maybe you'll be down a little, or maybe you'll be flat. Perfectly a flat day. Volume was on the light side, which is always an indicator of a pause day. Just like when we were looking at the daily, we saw the light volume consolidation pattern. A pause day after a massive rally like we saw yesterday is in line, and that's healthy. You can't continue to rally in a market. It needs to pause if it's going to gain more strength, and in a healthy way gain strength. Yeah, you could have 2, 3, 4 straight massive rallies, but that type of rally will fail, and a lot of people will get hurt on the downside that jump on late. This is the type of rally now we're looking at that had a big push, then a pause, and then we're going to look for another push. So we're going to see if that happens in the coming days. We may have another pause day tomorrow, although Research in Motion did post very nice earnings after the bell, which is going to help Techland tomorrow. So we'll touch on that as well. So again, you see the movement in the market. You had a little bit of a choppy, very tight range today. The markets were never up more than 15 points, 10 points on the Nasdaq, and never down more than 15, 10 points, which considering the day before was a up 80-point day in the markets in about a 90-point range because it was down a little bit early on. It just shows you the hugeness of this move. So again, check out the chart angles here. All right, we had a little bit of a push up into 830. All right, we had a little bit of news right here at around 8:15, I believe. 8:30, you had a little news. You had the markets coming down, selling off into the open right here at 9:30, actually reaching the low. You had a beautiful amount of tails right here, often indicating when it's on a moving average, a move to the upside coming, especially when you have that nice long tail there. And what'd you get there? You got a nice move up or a nice rally. You got to pull back to the 20 moving average, and you guys should all know what pattern we're developing here. A nice move up to a double top. Notice the double top right here. And then a sell-off again back to the 50 moving average. So you have a nice M pattern formation there, and we all know that you're going to create an A pattern in most situations. So you have the MA pattern formation on the intraday chart here. Sure enough, you had the A there for another little rally cutting back through the 20. And then you had the flush, which basically took us right down to the 200 moving average, as you can see right here. So really, on an intraday scale, this is a great teaching chart. Yesterday was a horrible teaching chart because we just continued going up all day. There was no moving average, supports, resistance, pattern formations. It was just a constant buy program all day. Today, we had a weaker market, a flat pause market, and you had some great formations. So again, the MA pattern, which is a beautiful pattern. The buy price was right here when we hit the 200 on the E-Mini chart right here, which mirrors the S&P in many ways. And you had a buy right into the close back to that 20. So there's the beautiful pattern, and that's the biggest pattern I can see on that chart. And those patterns develop every day. There's always a different pattern, whether it's support resistance, if it's head and shoulders patterns, whether it's MA or WV patterns. WV are generally considered bullish, and MA, as we see here, the M pattern and the A was a bearish pattern. You expected a thrust down on that A pattern, as you can see. So there's the intraday chart. Now let's move over to the daily, all right? And we're going to look at the SPY for the daily, and that's the spiders. And what did we see today? Again, we have that chart we had drawn over here for everyone, and where we called the rally, we could see it forming beautifully because it was a W pattern to a T. W, A, blast off. and then you basically had a pause day, and it wasn't even a pullback day. It wasn't even a move lower. Really, we saw a pause day in the markets, and that is what we had expected in yesterday's video. Now the question is, does this end here? Do we have another blast tomorrow, or do we have another pause day? Well, there's two ways to look at it. Oftentimes you get a thrust, pause, thrust type situation, and then there's other times like here, and I'll take this away, where you had a massive move up. Okay, you had this big move up, and then it took about 4 or 5 days to consolidate before the next move. So there will be interesting. It could be either one. We'll know tomorrow basically. If tomorrow's a flat day or a slight pullback day, then we will understand that we could be seeing a nice consolidation pattern forming. But if tomorrow blasts off, which it very well could do, then we'll know it's a thrust, pause, thrust in essence pattern. All right, and you'll know relatively early in the day pretty much. But nonetheless, it wouldn't shock me to see the markets, to be honest, blast off tomorrow again. It was a very bullish buy program all of yesterday. You had the pause day today as expected, and it wouldn't surprise me in the least to see a massive rally again, or at least a solid rally with the Nasdaq up 30 or 40 points tomorrow. But again, we could obviously have a flat day again, or even a small pullback. That wouldn't be out of the realm from a technical standpoint of this chart. It's basically telling us that we're not anticipating any major sells, although again, you never know if there's another Bear Stearns type situation, but the chart isn't dictating that. Okay, let's take a look at the Nasdaq now. And as we look at the Nasdaq, it's the same pattern formation, and that's the beauty of indexes. So we'll quickly go over that. You got again the W pattern. You had the nice double bottom right here in the W pattern, which actually went a little lower, which is always beautiful. The buy program, the consolidation right to that 20 moving average. You can't get any better than that. The blast off, and then the pause day right here today. Looking at the stochastics, nothing really revealed there. I don't look at stochastics or MACD, as we don't at InTheMoneyStocks.com, for any reason other than to maybe look at our divergences. That's about it. Otherwise, you're looking at history, not the future. We always like to look for pattern setups to tell us what the future is going to do, while all these technical technical indicators mostly tell us what happened in the past. And unless it's a divergence that we like, and we have specific setups based on proprietary analysis, obviously, we don't actually use them for much more than that. All right, so now the question is, well, where are we going? Because we basically took out yesterday the high. All right, now do we consolidate here? I'd like to see consolidation, really, and we did test that low from here. Notice this point right here, which was the high of the last move. We blasted through it yesterday, but the low today came down and tested that line, which is also significant. So you're seeing a little test of that support, which is what you want to see for a solid possible move higher. Now again, at what point do we go to this? I think this is very possible, to be honest. I think that point, right now we're sitting right here at this point. Notice that too. So notice how all these lines coming from the past move down are now coming into play with resistance levels at this point. This is resistance right here, the second one here, and the top one is a possible target for the next move up. Once we get to there, we'll have to reevaluate the charts and see if they're still telling us we're going to go higher. All right, now let's take a look at a couple stocks. Research in Motion. I mentioned Research in Motion had earnings after the bell. I'll show you guys the level 2. A beautiful move up here so far. As long as this holds, we should be in for some good, strong tech activity tomorrow. You can see here it closed at $115.79, down $1.69. After hours, blasting up here to 121.95, which is the last trade, 100 shares right here. And the bid and the ask is 121.80 by 121.95. So a very nice move there for Research in Motion. And Research in Motion definitely affects large cap tech, and you will get some buy action tomorrow on large cap tech off of this as long as it holds. Okay. The one thing you have to be careful on in Research in Motion is it has had quite a run into earnings, even though it did pull back today. And we always like to see a pullback before earnings, although I will state this, we never play any earnings play. Doesn't matter what it is. It's our policy because it's way too risky. We take 85%, what we think is 85% winners or better, nothing less. And earnings can always be a wild card that is, I would say, never 85% chance that you're going to win on an earnings play. So that is our general policy. But nonetheless, you can see this nice move up here. So the question is, it's got to hold tomorrow. If it holds tomorrow, that's a good sign. And as of now, it looks like it will. So tomorrow could be a very nice day for tech. Google was flat today. Baidu, B-I-D-U, was up $8. Baidu's had a nice run here. Check out this run. From the lows down here to this point here, which is piercing the 50 moving average, the 200 moving average to the upside. A very good sign there on Baidu. You'd actually look for Baidu to start to consolidate. Also, keep an eye on some of the Chinese plays out there, as the Shanghai Index is down about 50%, or a little less than 50, maybe about 40% from the highs, going back a while now. But nonetheless, it is down about 40% from the highs. You may see that pick up some steam with the U.S. markets. Should that happen, some of the Chinese stocks may get a nice little boost there. And so you can watch for those to gallop higher if the Shanghai Index can move up multiple percents every night for a few days in a row. All right, that's about all I want to touch on. The other thing I did want to mention is Solars today, just absolutely tremendous. You guys know SOLF is one of my favorite plays, and today it was up about 20%, up $2.24 to $14.55. It's even up after hours here. Just a tremendous move. Come join the swing trade alerts, the options alerts, private consulting, whether you're an institution or an individual, and also come join the chat room. We do E-Minis and day trading and discuss the markets, answer questions. You name it, we'll take care of it in the chat room. Have a wonderful day, guys. Talk to you tomorrow.